Hello guys, today is January 12, Wednesday. So we'll be discussing the Hindu editorial for both UPSC prelims and mains. So this is episode 10. This month starting we started the series again. November month we had done it. You can go and check the playlist. December month it was not done because of lack of responses, and now we are again continuing. So hopefully you will keep up the likes and comments and also subscribe to these channels, Vysh IAS and Vysh courses, so that we can continue this every day. Okay. And also some students were asking for the Hindi version of this thing. So that also is in pipeline. We'll think about it if more students need it. Okay. So now if you see today's articles, the agenda we'll discuss first before going into the detailing. Okay. So first one, if you see, this is about the party defections and all happening. Elections are coming up. So some examples of some people who defected the party, left the party and went outside. So in this article, as such, there is no theory part. It's just names and dynamic things, which is not important for you. So you can go and revise the defections chapter, which is there. Okay, anti-defection law and all those things related to the polity part, that you have to go and revise because that is in news. Okay. Now the next one, if you see, this is about the chess and future of chess in India. There are many junior team members and all who are doing excellently well and have potential to go into the world level leagues and all. So their names and the age and their successes features are mentioned here. And Vishwanathan Anand, anyway, he's the champion all the time of India. So he's world number 16 and he's 5-time world champion. So they're just connecting that and telling the future of chess. Okay. So again, for exam sake, it's not important unless UPSC asks you a difficult question about chess. Okay. Like last time they asked about cricket and Olympics. If they want, they can trouble you. But in this article, there is no much information. Okay. The next one, if you see this UNDP, United Nations Development Program, they have a lot of indexes all the time, and it's all important also, Human Development Index. So this is a modified version of that. In present context, it's very important. So we'll discuss this. Okay, UNDP new index. Then here, if you see GST compensation, again is very important for your GS3 mains and also for your prelims. You should know what is compensation, what is the controversy, why is unions and union and state fighting with each other. So that full problems we'll discuss here. Okay. Then here, if you see, this is again a Malayalam movie industry's some issue. Okay, something is there, the gender issues and some work issues there. Okay, which females are facing. So that is not exam important. If you are from this state, you can just go through it. Okay. Then here, if you see this, the vaccination count, it is now speeded up because December some of the target we couldn't achieve. So now January, the vaccination doses speed has increased. Okay, so again, not important to discuss in detail. Now, if you see this about the side hustlers. Side hustlers means you also, maybe if you are working in an IT company and all, maybe if you get a chance to do something like a side job, okay, like somebody tell you privately, like do an app for me or do some freelancing for me, you might do it. Okay, and always it will not be because of money intentions. Okay, maybe because you are bored of your current work profile, or just for a stress buster you want to do something else which is more passionate for you, more interesting for you. So like that, many people in Bangalore, especially in IT and all, many are doing the side jobs. Okay, so here the article they're telling that company should actually allow that also, because many companies will tell like it is breach of contract, you are not supposed to work for someone else when you are working with us. So many things are there. So they're telling companies not owning the employees have their own freedom, because at the work they're having that much stress, they have to do something in their free time, so they are free to do it. So like that, some authors viewpoint about the side hustlers and freelancers. Okay, so that again is not important as such for exam, but for interest sake, and if you are an IT professional, you will like that article. Okay, so please go through that. Next one is important, the hate speech, which keeps happening. So here as such, it is not about the theory you have to study, but there are many court cases and many international laws and many things are mentioned which you can actually list it down. Okay, when I read this article especially, you have to make notes, because a number of court cases, that too older ones also, new 2020, 21, 22 cases are there which you can actually quote in your exam. Okay, because that will give a value add to your answer. So please wait for this article. So these three we will discuss in detail. That is the agenda for today. Now again, if you are new to this channel, as I told, English and Hindi, both lectures are there. And current affairs, when people ask like, what about the other articles in Hindu, that is being covered in our Vysh courses channel. Okay, because that is relevant for many other exams also. We are putting in the Vysh courses channel. Okay, where we are planning to do many more things for other exams other than UPSC. Okay, so current affairs, general current affairs are put out here. Please go and watch it. Okay, because very less people are watching that, and later when exam comes, okay, directly question will come. Okay, it's plan B, which is railways, and this new type of vaccine, or this mental disorder issues, everything is related to the exam point of view. Okay, delimitation commission of Jammu and Kashmir, or the smile scheme, which is very new and relevant now for UPSC, questions are expected out of it. Okay, so please see to it that you are subscribed to Vysh courses also. Every day just 5 to 6 minutes you have to spend, and you will get good knowledge from this channel. Okay, then again, English and Hindi both are going parallel. So Hindi lectures as of now, it is lesser compared to English, but it will be speeded up. Okay, in the next 3 months, a lot of new lectures are going to come in Hindi language as well, and then it will be kind of balanced. Okay, Okay, so don't worry about it. So please subscribe and see the existing videos till then, till new videos come in. But now also, as I told, 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. every day lectures are being put out. Okay, then read this to understand whether editorial alone will be sufficient for your current affair. Read this thing. Okay, and if you have reached on my WhatsApp, please save your number also, and there I'll give you a list of 20 foundational videos which will allow you to understand that UPSC is very simple to crack if you study the right way. Now, the first article, the new UNDP Index. So, 2020 Human Development Report of the UNDP. It is titled this way: The Next Frontier: Human Development and the Anthropocene. Okay, so this article has come out, and in that they are telling, or they are proposing, a planetary pressure adjusted human development index, meaning we already have the human development index, but you have to factor in the planetary pressure adjusted one, meaning sometimes we'll hear like inflation adjusted GDP or something adjusted, something like that, because that factor, without that factor you will not get the real value. Okay, so ideally human development index started when it was started by a Pakistani and Indian economist, this Mehboob Haq and Amartya Sen, who got a Nobel Prize for economics also. So these people in 1990 had this vision and they started this something called HDI. Okay, they formulated it. Then UNDP is now having the HDI report. But later we saw adjustments like inequality adjustment HDI, then gender development index, gender inequality index, multi-dimensional poverty index. So as the time progressed, as per the situations needed, different variations of the human development index came. So now the latest variation is planetary pressure adjusted human development index, which they are calling it as PHDI. Okay, PHDI. So that we will discuss here. So this concept, when did it come? Because that also UPSC sometimes asks, like it came in the Rome conference, it came in that Geneva conference. It actually was in the Stockholm Resilience Center in 2009 that this person, some group of scientists led by this Rockstrom, he only gave this idea. Okay, so this is to highlight that human-induced environmental change can irrevocably destabilize the long-term dynamics of the Earth system, thereby disrupting the life-supporting system of the planet. Okay, so the life-supporting system of the planet means the humans and the planet are interconnected. If you take care of the planet, planet will take care of you. Okay, nature and you are interdependent on each other. Okay, there is both global and local evidence that biodiversity loss, climate change, land system, land use change, disruption of geochemical cycles, scarcity of fresh water, all these are a threat and increase the vulnerability of society. Okay, so now the purpose of this index is to communicate to the larger society, that is to the entire world, the risk involved in continuing with existing practices in our resource use and environment management, and the retarding effect that environmental stress can perpetuate on development. Okay, so you are misusing the environment too much, so that has to be told to majority of the people. Now when this was adjusted, okay, as I told, there is an HDI, there is a marking system, there is a ranking system. Now what they did is they adjusted the planetary pressure. They had a formula for it and they tried it. So what happened is the world average of HDI in 2019, it came down. Okay, earlier it was 0.737, the world average. Now when you adjusted with planetary pressure, it came to 0.683 because people are misusing the environment. So what was the factors considered? One is the per capita carbon dioxide emission as a production and per capita material footprint. Okay, so these values are there. This is 4.6 tons and this is 12.3 tons. So that they factored in to reformulate it. So what happened is several countries was altered in positive and negative sense. Okay, the ranking. Switzerland is the only country in the group of high human development countries whose world rank has not changed. Okay, it remained the same after the adjustment. Their value went down. Their value from 0.95 to 825, it went down, but still their rank, I think rank 1, it was same rank only. Okay, but other countries, if you see, which were in high rank like Germany, Montenegro, Luxembourg and all, they all had like negative marks after that. Okay, this much -1 to -131 difference came. Okay, among the 66 very high human development countries, 30 countries recorded a fall in rank values. Okay, it was -1 or -10, -30, up to -131 difference point came. Okay, then if you see in India what happened, India also the value 0.626 against the 0.645, and 0.645 it came down to 0.626. Okay, but the rank wise, if you see, India's rank has improved. Okay, because many other countries' rank went down drastically. India's point, even though it reduced, India's rank went up. Instead of 131 rank, it became 123rd rank, because compared to the world global average of this wastage of carbon emission and material footprint and all, India has a very low thing. Okay, compared to other countries, it's not like India is perfect in everything. India has lesser emissions compared to the global average. So India's rank improved, even though point reduced. Okay, hope you're getting the idea now. So India's natural resource use is far from efficient. Environmental problems are growing. That is not telling, it's not like India is perfect. We have problems. Okay. So India has, like if you see multidimensional poverty index, 27.9% people are under this thing. 1.1% in Kerala and 52 point in Bihar. Okay, meaning that much range difference is there where people comes under poverty or not. Okay, Kerala has been a good example when it comes to SDI value. They have excellent statistics in all these things. Most of the indexes, Kerala is number one. Human capital, human resources, education, health, everything they are good. Okay, only thing they're lacking is they don't have their own agriculture, their own industries, their own that kind of thing. Okay, but a service sector and all those human resource thing, they are number one. Okay, so on environmental front, there are a lot of challenges. Okay, if you see some instances they are mentioning, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in the Stockholm Conference, which in 1972, which happened, Stockholm Conference, in that she mentioned about the twin challenges. One is poverty elevation and one is environmental safeguarding. Okay, so now 50 years have passed, but there is no change in the scenario. In fact, the situation is much more complex now. Okay, so since the Stockholm Conference, we know multiple things happened. One important thing is the adoption of 17 Sustainable Development Goal, which is having target of 2030. Okay, then again, if you see, human induced climate change has emerged as an important issue now. Okay, everywhere the discussions are going on, many conferences are there. And if you see, IPCC is a body you should know, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. IPCC, they keep publishing reports. Okay, so the sixth assessment report, AR6, they laid stress on limiting global temperature rise at 1.5 degree level and strengthening the global response to the threat of climate change, sustainable development efforts. So everything is mentioned in this sixth assessment report of this IPCC. Okay, and it was reaffirmed or confirmed also in the latest COP. COP means the UNFCCC will have COP summits, Conference of Parties, every year. Okay, so 26th summit happened in Glasgow, UK, Scotland, there in 2021. There they reconfirmed that, okay, this is correct, we have to abide by it. Now, no poverty and zero hunger. These are the first and second SDG. I told you there are 17 SDG, which you should ideally by heart. The first and second is no poverty and hunger. Okay, so if you know, tell me all the 17 goals in comment section. Okay, it will be interesting for others to learn. Now, according to Niti Aayog report, 100 points we are considering for each of the goals and all. India's performance is listed down here. Okay, like in India scored around 60. Okay, in no poverty index. Okay, out of 100, 60. Then if you see hunger, it is like aspirant grade, that is 47, meaning it is even worse. Okay, then SDG 8, 9, 12, this decent work, economic growth, industry motivation, infrastructure, responsible consumption. In this also they are telling 61, 55, 74. So we are like more than 50% or averaging 50% and above in most of the indexes. So we have to also try to reach 100 points in everything. Okay, full world is trying for this. So these are the different things they have mentioned in this article. Now, also again, they are telling some movements also, you know, Zipco movement in 1973 in Uttarakhand and Silent Valley movement in Kerala in 1970s. These were the most popular at that time. Okay, well-known modern day people movement for environmental protection in India. Okay, this is how you can refer in most of your environment answers, you can refer. So there is now widespread awareness about all these things and many initiatives are coming. And then if you see Anthropocene, okay, this term you should know. This is the unofficial unit of geological time to describe the most recent period in Earth's history when human activity started to have a significant impact on the planet's climate and ecosystem. Humans affecting the planets and ecosystem, that timeline in Earth's human history, okay, geological timeline, that era, that they are calling it as this one. Okay, so now it is established, as I told, interdependency. Earth and the humans, they have a proper relationship. Both cannot sustain without each other. And now more and more solutions should come, that to nature-based solution. Okay, protecting the nature and natural one and the humans community involved, that kind of thing should be there. Okay, because people are an interconnected social system. Okay, everyone are part of this system. And all these things cannot be addressed isolation anymore. You have to work together. Community has to be involved at the local level. So in India, we already, you know, 73rd and 74th amendment we had, where the panchayat level, municipality level, people have a lot of role to do. Okay, Gram Sabha, everybody has a lot of role to do. So all this we have already provisions. We just have to implement it seriously. Okay. And also remote sensing, geographic information system, these all things have helped us to document and explain the impact of human activities at the ground level and stimulate new interdisciplinary work encompassing the natural and social sciences. So we have all the data, we have all the people, we have all the provisions, we just need to implement it so that the interconnection happens and we will be able to sustain the environment. Okay, so that is the idea of that article. Now second one, GST compensation. So you should know what is compensation and what is the debate. So GST, you know, it's a very big scheme which revolutionized most of the things. Most of the taxes were brought under one thing, and it is a big example or experiment in cooperative federalism, where state and center have come together, where states also were ready to sacrifice most of their revenues because there was something called GST compensation, which the center promised for the next 5 years. Whatever you face losses, center will compensate for it. Okay, and if you see here, to allay the fears of states of possible revenue loss by implementing GST, the union government promised to pay compensation, okay, for the next 5 years. And this compensation would be calculated as a shortfall in actual revenue collection. Okay, and for this they also, to finance the compensation requirement, a GST compensation cess was levied on certain items such as tobacco products, automobiles, coal, solid fuel, all these things. We have something called compensation cess. So when people buy this thing, this cess also will be there, and government will get that revenue, and that will be used to pay back to the states for their losses. Okay, so now what happened, we'll see what is the timeline. Okay, because it's for 5 years, right? So the first 2 years it was all smooth, because whatever the compensation cess they got, it was sufficient to meet the requirements of the state revenue, and lot of surplus also was there. Okay, so in the next year also, 2017 18 and 18 19, all these time the compensation was easily met with the compensation cess itself. Now in 2018 19, if you see, this was again possible because the surplus of the previous 2 years was there. Okay, surplus of the cess was there, so that also fine. But now in 2021, when it came, lockdown happened and pandemic came, everything happened, so the loss of revenue which state faced was huge. Okay, it was so huge that it could not be compensated with the compensation cess. Okay, so center didn't have the fund to give it to the states. Okay, if you see here, some 3 lakh crore is there, out of which 65,000 crore is possible, that much only the union has. Remaining, how much is there? Remaining 2.35 lakh crore center has to give to the states. Okay, so for that, around 1.1 lakh crore center borrowed from the Reserve Bank of India under some special window and special interest payment, some terms they had, and told like in future also we'll collect compensation cess, and with that we'll repay the loan. Okay, so that is what is happening now. But this has made the union and state relationship to go to a new low. Okay, so they are having very bad relationship now. States are not happy that is happening. Okay, now the agreement to pay compensation for loss of revenue was for a period of 5 years, which will come to an end by June 2022, because 2017 GST came and 2022 the 5 years is over. So now the suggestion is it should continue for another 5 years. Okay, because of the pandemic and all, states have faced huge losses and the GST is still in transition phase. So you have to continue it for another 5 years. Okay, so although it was hoped that the tax structure would stabilize in the first 5 years, the reform is still in transition. Okay, so 2 points I mentioned. First is the technology platform could not be firmed up for a long time, due to which the initial planned returns could not be filed. Okay, the platform, GST platform and GST interface and all, that had a long delay and all. So the returns could not be filed properly. So people started misusing the tax credit and all those things. Fake invoices used to come. So many problems were there. Now lockdown also has come and revenue collection has been affected. So this is the one concern. Okay. Now second is, this is the only major source of revenue for the states. Okay, the GST and these things and all. So there is no other means to cushion this uncertainty when this problem comes. So finance commission also is have to recommend some things. Okay, finance commission is the one who tells like how much center has to give to state and all. So the next commission's report is available only in 2006 27. Okay, 26 27. So already whatever recommendations submitted till now, that you have to take it and start implementing. Okay, the structure of GST also need to have changes. That is what we'll tell in the next slide. Okay, we know GST structure how it is. So there also amendments are required. So they're telling, first is 3-4 points are there. First is 50% of the consumption items, okay, which comes under this consumer price index, that is most which consumers buy and all, they are in the exemption list. Okay, so that has to be broadened. More items has to be brought under GST. Okay, because now many of the things don't have tax. Okay, so that has to be exempted, and this consumer items also should come in. That is the first thing they are telling, amendment. Second, they are telling the petroleum products, the real estate, the alcohol for human, electricity, all these things which are partially or not there in the GST has to come under the GST. Okay, in 2018 UPSC asked a very difficult question to students like which of the following has GST. Okay, they gave like cooked egg or like raw hen or something raw cotton, something animals and food items they placed it, and they wanted to test your knowledge. Okay, because you have to know like food which is given in the restaurants they will have be taxed, food which is like consumer thing which you're directly buying will not have tax. So that knowledge they tested by giving you 4-5 products. Okay, that's a very interesting question in my 2018 prelims discussion videos. You can watch that. Okay, so this one if you see like that, so this is the second thing. Now third one is the structure. We have this 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%, and on top of that we have a lot of additional cess and luxury tax and all, like 15 to 96% based on the item, demerit goods and sin goods and all we have. So this is a complicated system, multiple rates. So you have to unify the rates, you have to rationalize the rates, and you have to come down and make a better structure. Okay, so these are the 3 amendments. One more is there, I think. Okay, so here again extending. Okay, they're talking about extending 3 important points, and then they're talking about the extension of this thing. Okay, because unless you transition properly to this and you provide proper comfort to the states, you have to continue this compensation system. Okay, so again that is the conclusion. So if you see here, the 15th Finance Commission told like this thing also, like however they're calculating this, okay, like how much compensation to give, how much that growth formulas and all you have to change. Okay, instead of, I think now they are fixing like 14% growth. Okay, like how much ever the base revenue on that you are thinking like, okay, each year 14% growth is there, and based on that some formula is there, and they are giving the compensation. Instead they are telling that should be linked to the growth of the state, the GDP of the state, right, the gross state domestic product, that you should link it, and based on each state's growth you should give the required compensation. Okay, so not a fixed formula, one size fit all, that should not be there. State wise different formula of compensation should be there. That is the recommendation by the 15th Finance Commission. Okay, so all this if you do, then your ease of doing business will improve, your distortions will reduce, the taxation will be more transparent, that kind of things. Okay, so now the third and final article about the hate speech. Okay, you would have seen like some YouTuber told something about Northeast people, or some priest is telling something about some other religion, or Hindutva groups are telling about Muslims. So these are like now very common nowadays. Okay, especially because of the internet era. Okay, so about that, many court cases and many things are there which you can use in your essays, your answers, even in your interview you can quote it. Okay, so please make notes of these things, whatever I'm telling. Okay, so here if you see hate speech is happening, and recent, if you see 2021, some Hindu Yuva Vahini, they told something about the minority groups and some violence or something. So that is one latest event. Okay, but problem with the courts is the Supreme Court, High Court and all, the India don't have sufficient laws. Okay, we don't have sufficient laws against hate speech. There's no proper definition of hate speech. So the action is not being able to be taken. Okay, whenever you do something, it is immediately getting suppressed also. That case is not going for long. Okay, so that is being discussed here. So here if you see, first thing is Supreme Court has been asked to review the hate speech laws, and various high courts have been called to provide interpretation of ingredients of hate speech, meaning everyone would have dealt with different cases. So everybody's suggestions are welcome, and they are trying to make a clear legislative guidance. Okay, and they are trying to make it an opportunity to chart new legislative reforms. Okay, because many minorities are being targeted. Now, as I told, definition, there is no proper definition in Indian context, because it's a very weird kind of thing. Okay, very varied kind of spread kind of event. So if you see here, dictionary definition they are giving like speech that carries no meaning other than the expression of hatred for some group, such as a particular race, especially in circumstances in which the communication is likely to provoke violence. This is the dictionary definition of hate speech. Okay, then in Supreme Court, in some case, okay, this Pravasi Bhalai Sangathan versus Union of India 2015, they described hate speech as an effort to marginalize individuals based on their membership in a group, and one that seeks to delegitimize group members in the eyes of the majority, reducing their social standing and acceptance within society. So this exactly, okay, whenever a hate speech question comes, this definition and the Supreme Court Indian definition, if you quote, that will be a very good opening line for your answer. Okay, so please note down these things. Now, the current legislative setup, meaning the current whatever laws are there, whatever court cases are there, in that various things have come out. If you see in High Court of Karnataka, okay, there is a hate speech versus state of Karnataka. Here if you see, there was an opinion that Indian Penal Code illegalizes speeches that are intended to promote enmity or prejudice the maintenance of harmony between different classes. So some IPC numbers were quoted. This also you can note down. Okay, 153A, which penalizes promotion of enmity between different groups. 153B, which punishes imputations, assertions prejudicial to national integration. 505, which punishes rumors and news intended to promote communal enmity. Then 295A, which criminalizes insult to the religious belief of a class by words with deliberate or malicious intention contribute to combating hate speech. So these are 4 important IPC provisions which we already have. Now we just need to make proper law or legal act based on these things. Okay, so the Supreme Court has upheld the view that the objective behind such provision is to check all these communal and separatist tendencies and secure fraternity so as to ensure the dignity of the individual and the unity of the nation. Okay, so this kind of dignity, unity, all these things when you use, right, because these are preamble keywords, okay, your answer will stand out. So please note down these. Now again, some cases, Supreme Court and High Court cases they are showing. Supreme Court in the state of Karnataka versus Praveen by something emphasized the need to sustain communal harmony to ensure the welfare of the people. Okay, so again in this Pravasi Balai Sangathan case, underline the impact hate speech can have on the targeted group's ability to respond and how it can be a stimulus to further attack. Okay, meaning one will lead to more and more attacks. Okay, then again Madras High Court, if you see, they are telling a small spark capable of merely lighting a lamp to destroy a forest. Okay, those are court statements, so you can use this in your answers. Then again 2019 one case they are telling hate speeches causes discord between classes, and that responsibility attached to free speech should not be forgotten. Okay, So summing up, there is another case, Amish Devgan versus Union of India 2020. The Supreme Court held that hate speech has no redeeming or legitimate purpose other than hatred towards a particular group. Okay, this is a 2020 case. So in your upcoming exam, 21, 22, 23, 24, everywhere, 21 is over now, 20, 23, 24 and all, you should quote this. Okay, whenever hate speech kind of things come, topic comes. Okay, again, that YouTuber thing also is mentioned here if you see. Taking guidance from that Amish Devgan case, right? Many standards were set. Okay, but here if you see again in 2021, there is a case where YouTuber told something, but that FIR was quashed. Okay, FIR was cancelled, telling like YouTuber cannot have much influence and all. Also, he deserves protection under this Article 19(1), that is freedom of speech. So that actually did not work. Okay, even after having standards and all these things, YouTuber which has this much subscribers and all, his thing is not considered as an influence, and it was quashed. The FIR was quashed. Okay, and on the other hand, if you see in another case where this George Ponnaya versus Inspector of Police 2022, here if you see this one priest was telling something in an isolated incident. He was talking to a very limited audience. Okay, that was I think considered for punishment. Okay, so that way if you see a YouTuber which has lakhs of subscribers is not considered for punishment, but a priest which talks for a limited place with a limited audience, maybe hundreds or 200 people, there it is considered a punishment. So that contradiction is there. Okay, so these divergent decisions from Constitutional Court expose the lack of established legal standards in defining hate speech, especially those propagated by the digital medium. Okay, because digital medium is like uncontrollable. Okay, so in Law Commission of India, see many things we told: Finance Commission, Law Commission, Madras High Court, Supreme Court. So every kind of people's thoughts are being beautifully put in this article. Okay, so now if you see, they have recommended, this Law Commission recommended the insertion of two new provisions. Okay, the section 153C and section 505A. So this one was drafted to cover an offense committed when any person uses threatening words which are intended to cause fear or commence hatred or violence, words spoken, all these things. Okay, written, visible, sign, symbol, anything which is against some race, caste, religion, sex, gender. It's a very broad one. So this is a new section which is recommended. Okay, then section 505 to include provisions penalizing causing of fear, alarm, or provocation of violence. Okay, so these two are the new ones. Now again, there is this Parliamentary Standing Committee report in 2015 where they recommended the incorporation of separate and specific provisions in the IT Act. Okay, IT Act 66A and all was there in news when it was removed. Okay, like you post something in Facebook, you used to get arrested. So that was very controversial. So that clause was removed, I think. IT Act clause 66A, section 66A. And that UPSC mains question also came that same year. Like explain what is 66A, why was it quashed? Okay. So these kind of things are telling none of the recommendations have been acted upon, and this has partly given rise to ambiguity in construing hate speech by various constitutional court. So like this should be your mains answer when you write. Okay, because now the mains test series is going on. When I correct papers also, I see that students are writing very general thing. Okay, like some Hindu told something about Muslim told about Hindu. You cannot tell stories in UPSC mains answers. You have to quote the Law Commission, the Economic Survey, the Parliament Standing Committee, the Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha, the High Court, the Madras, the Supreme, everything. Okay, IPC sections. You have to have this kind of detailing. Only then you will get, like, suppose it's a 15-marker question, you will get at least some 10 or 11 marks. Okay, that is the highest they give. UPSC won't give you 15 out of 15. They'll give you 10 or 11 even if it's a wonderful answer. Others are given like 2 out of 15, 6 out of 15. That is why the topper's mark, if you see also in UPSC mains, the topper, okay, the rank 1, his marks will be just 50%. Okay, out of that 1750 or 2000 including interview, his marks will be like only 900 or 1000. Okay, he won't get very good marks because UPSC is giving you that much only, even if you write brilliant answers. So make your answer stand out. This is what we are trying to teach you from day one. Okay, your answer has to be the best one. Okay, this is the last slide, I think. So here if you see internet era, they are just telling, okay, because all the laws which we have is pre-internet era. Okay, so you have to have new laws. So you can take reference from Australian federal law also, where they have some criminal code amendment 2019, where the internet related hate speech and internet and all is mentioned. Because now you know, whatever you do, okay, once it is on the internet, in seconds it will go viral and it can never be deleted. Okay, how much ever you delete, somewhere it will exist, the screenshot will exist or something will exist. Okay, so it survives through digital or social media platform for eternity. So you have to take cue from best international standards and you have to safeguard all these things. A proper legislation has to come. The IPC and ITA Act you have to change, and then it is all possible only when hate speech is recognized as a reasonable restriction to free speech. You cannot tell whatever you like and just tell like free speech. Okay, like you cannot go to your home and abuse your father and then tell like I have free speech in this country. You cannot do that. There are some moral standards also which you have to take into consideration. So that is how this is concluded, and it's a very beautiful article, I felt. Okay, you can also tell in comment section how you felt about today's articles. Okay, so I'll come up with the next video. Till then, please contact me in WhatsApp, YouTube, Telegram, email, Instagram. Everywhere we are available, and subscribe to both our channels. Okay, so thank you and have a nice day.